Okay, Victoria, thank you so much for coming in today. I'm so excited to meet you in person. Before I get into the main part of the interview with all the questions I want to ask you, these are just 4 questions that I ask all of my guests, so the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Question number 1, what's one thing that sets your soul on fire?
Myself.
Okay, a little bit more elaboration on that.
Elaboration?
Yeah. This is supposed to be quick fire, but I want a little bit more.
Okay, well, I just really love what I do, and so I guess drag a little bit as well, because that's sort of taken over my whole life.
Okay.
But that's the thing that makes me excited and make me want to get up in the morning.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. When you love what you do, it's not work, is it?
Yes, yeah, okay, amazing. So question number 2, what's the last thing you took a photo of?
Can I check?
Yes.
Okay. I've got it down. I have a feeling it's River Medway who's sat in there. Yeah, so it's River Medway on the train on the way here. We got afternoon tea.
Oh, nice. Did you say you came from Birmingham?
We came from Birmingham because we were on tour at the moment.
Okay.
So we had a show last night. Yes, and my favourite thing is afternoon tea. So my 2 favourite things there, River Medway and afternoon tea.
Okay, nice. Question number 3. What's something that people frequently misunderstand or get wrong about you if they don't know who you are?
They usually think that I'm a cis man.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a drag queen. So, that's maybe a bit understandable if you've never been familiarised.
So do you get that when you're in drag or out of drag?
In drag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This is the last one. Finish the sentence. I'm still a work in progress when it comes to...
Oh, that's maybe going to get deep. We
can get deep.
I'm still a work in progress when it comes to gender.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I feel like once, for me anyway, once you come out, after that, the whole gender thing starts up. Yeah, I get that.
Tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Okay, so it's such an amazing thing. You made history with being the first cisgender woman to appear on RuPaul's Drag Race. Was that something that you felt proud of? Was it normal? Was it overwhelming? So I was wondering what that experience was like for you, being the first of something.
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting, and maybe you'd think it would be very sort of feel like a lot of pressure, but it felt very right at the time. It felt very correct. It's good, it's good to be the first and all that. But I just felt like, of course this is happening. It's the right time, the right place. I think I was the right person for the job.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Fuck yes. I love hearing women say that.
I know. I always say this, that women don't talk enough about like how good they are at something.
Yes.
Men do it all the blown time.
I think we require women to be quite humble about themselves in the public eye. Otherwise, they're not liked. Yes. And there's this awful statistic that I hate that men are liked more when they're successful and women are liked less. And I think we know this inherently. So when I hear women talk about their accomplishments as, I was the right fucking person to do that, it makes me happy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think I was the right person for the job until the knee injury. And I let the world down.
So do you feel that kind of environment was something that you were used to then? It wasn't like... it wasn't unusual for you to be working around men all of the time.
Oh yeah, I'm totally used to it. That's literally my job. We're on tour right now with the season 3 lot, and it's 11 of them. That sounds so mean. Them blokes, them smelly boys, and one of me. So I've already been accused of putting toilet roll in the toilet in the bus, which I haven't done, just because I'm the only sit-down weir. It's not me.
I often feel so starved of not queer representation, but queer women representation. And I feel like the last thing that was a full cast of bi and lesbian women was the fucking L word, and that was so long ago, and it just sets my soul on fire. That's one thing that sets my soul on fire, is seeing queer women, not just in like male dominated spaces, but just anywhere, on social media, on the internet, on TV. Do you feel like that's something that's important to you?
Absolutely, yeah. And now I feel like my answer was very self-indulgent.
Which answer?
The thing that sets myself on
oh no, please!
Is myself.
I have multiple answers, but there's so many things that set my soul on fire, and one of them is seeing gay women.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And there's not enough. I always say it. It's very lonely out here. We absolutely need more queer women representation, more queer representation in general.
Of course,
nice. But whenever there is, it's usually a sort of gay man or a cis man. More queer representation is always what we're striving for.
I feel like I live in a very bubble. I feel like I live in a bubble, a very queer bubble, where I forget that other places don't have as much representation and other places aren't as open with queer women representation. And I feel like unless you actively put yourself out there and are proud about who you are, there's this idea that queer women just don't exist. And I've got friends and I know people who are queer women from different cultures and different parts of the world where they just don't think queer women exist. So it's actually safe to exist in homophobic countries because they will never assume that you're gay if you're a woman, which is interesting.
Yeah. There's an example of that I always speak about is in football, how and like women's football was just completely like cancelled. It was like basically made illegal. Like we couldn't do it 50 years ago.
In the UK.
Yeah. And how it wasn't even, at that time, it wasn't even like, so it was illegal for men to be gay, but it like wasn't even illegal for women to be gay because it wasn't even considered that it was like a thing. It doesn't even exist, which is like a double negative of like, oh, can it at least be acknowledged?
It's not really taken seriously at all.
No.
Something that strikes me about you, and I don't know if this is true, but from the outside looking in, you seem to be a very joyful person. And joy matters so much to me as a creative because I think there's often this tortured artist stereotype that to be able to make art and create good art that you have to not be happy. And that's what I really love about you and what you do is that you seem very joyful. Is that true?
I think so, yeah. I think, well, like I said, if you're not enjoying your work, then, that's what makes it work. You have to enjoy it and love it. And I am very fortunate that I do love it. But I think this is this like self-deprecating thing of, gosh, I have to think I'm lucky all the time. But I did work hard to be here. I did do this myself,
I think that comes back to, I resonate with that so much. That comes back to the thing about women having to be humble and continuously publicly grateful for absolutely everything. Otherwise, who does she think she is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel that so much.
Yeah.
But we've worked hard to get where we are.
I know. And then it's the constant proving and the perfectionism comes in and everything.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't stop. Once even if you get somewhere, you've got to prove that you deserve to be there.
And then also helping other people into those rooms once you get in there because you're like, fuck, but there's not enough of me in this space. So, and trying to help other people into the rooms.
Yes.
Would you say that joy is a big part of your life with your creativity? Is it fueled by joy? Is it fueled by your adversity and stuff that you've been through? For me, it's like a bit of both.
I think so. I think I know my experience that I've had and I know what I have been through to get where I am. So I do try and pass on the joy and, like you say, bring other people up. Because if, with the platform that I have, if I don't use it for good for other people, then kind of what is it all for? And with my job in general, it is about creating a joyful experience. Like being a drag queen, you're at an event, you're encouraging people to have a good time at a party. So it literally
you're an entertainer.
It's an entertainment. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm lucky, aren't I?
But where does that where does that come from for you? The joy. What is your source of joy? Is it? I know you've already said like doing what you do and stuff, but where does that come from? Were you always like this as a child?
Yeah. I think very sort of maybe only child syndrome, but it's actually maybe a little bit narcissistic. I just love people to be looking at me and telling me
the
I'm
first
amazing.
answer. What's one thing that sets your soul on fire? Myself.
I think it is though. I do love being the centre of attention, but it's because I can see everyone having a good time.
Yes.
I just love that. I just like on the tour at the moment, I'm doing like a song that's very audience participation. Like everyone stands up and dances along.
Oh, you said on the toilet. I thought you said on the toilet.
On the toilet. That's true. I just need to be watched all the time.
On tour. Sorry, carry on.
On tour.
I really let you carry on then. I was like, okay, what's going on?
Where's this going? She needs an audience on the toilet. That's my next show.
In your head.
I just can't go unless there's an ambulance. So you know how people can't go and if someone's in next door, I have to have someone next door. I can't go.
Sorry. You're on tour.
I love that you had this whole...
I was like, I really hope she's going to follow through with this.
Well, literally.
Okay. Let's move on to the first time you... Let's come off stage.
Come out the toilet.
Come out my book. Okay. When was the first time that you started wearing makeup?
Probably literally when I was about 3.
Okay.
Because my mum thrust me into the world of theatre.
Okay.
I always say this is a bit of Stockholm syndrome, like, fall in love with your oppressor, because I was forced into theatre, but I do love it and it's part of my life and I can't escape it, even if I wanted to, which I don't. So she was on the Benny Hill show. Have you heard of the Benny Hill show?
No.
No, have you not?
No.
Wait, how old are you?
23.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I wouldn't have even heard of it because it was like before my time. It was Have you heard that song where it's like do 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 do
No.
do do? No,
No.
Yakety sax.
I'll have to listen to it after. Maybe we
Oh
can
my
play it
God.
during the
I mean, it's not
episode.
like a bop. It's like a
Okay,
theme
just the
tune.
tune. Okay.
I think you would probably I don't know. Awful. You couldn't get away with it nowadays.
Okay,
Like
the
not very.
show.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like probably a bit degrading to women. Let's just say. But I'm proud of my mum. She was a dancer on there. I'm proud of her for doing it because it's like she was making that money.
Okay.
She had a beautiful body. She was, you know, it was good. It was feminism in that time, you know.
Yeah.
So she was in theatre. She used to do modelling and all that. So she thrust me into the world. Thrust me into the world of arts. Yes, so I was doing dance competitions from the age of 3.
Okay, and was that because your mum saw something in you, or was this a way of your mum saying, "I want you to carry on doing what I'm doing"?
Oh yeah, she wanted me to carry on the legacy, and
Yeah.
I was forced to do it from the age of 3, but I haven't stopped doing it.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
And there was points where I really didn't like it, like at drama college. I really had a horrible time with my weight and eating disorders and being put on food diaries, and I really didn't want to be there. But then I left and I was like, well, I still need to be doing the arts because I love it so much. I just didn't want to be skinny doing it.
Yes. So did you go to school? Was this like what you did full time? What happened?
Yes, but I went to like normal school. I didn't go from like really young, but I did like dance classes during school. And then when I left, I did like a foundation course in theatre, and then I did a 3-year course at another musical theatre school.
Okay.
So basically, from the ages of 3 to 23, it's like 20 years I was in training for dancing.
Okay, amazing.
And singing and performing.
I had some amazing guests on here. They have an Instagram page called Beauty Redefined, and they have a quote that says, "Your body is an instrument, not an ornament." And that, when I first heard that quote, it changed my life, because I feel like so many of the ways that women in particular are encouraged to use their body is to attract desirability. And even what you're saying about being skinny and dancing, that's a whole other thing. But using your body as an instrument makes me feel so empowered. I feel like my body is meant to be used as something to further my life and to bring me joy. Do you feel like dancing did that for you at that age, or any age, or?
I say it in maybe a different way.
Yeah.
That's maybe a bit of a drag queen way of saying it. I love my body, and, you know, it does wonderful things, and it carries me around from A to B and where I need to get to. But I effectively see it as a meat sack that carries me around.
Yes, yeah.
And I experience these wonderful
vessel.
things. Exactly. It is
Meat
ultimately
vessel.
a vessel. I think because of all the experiences with food and like negativity with it, I love it for what it is, and I want to give it the things that it enjoys doing. I want it to be healthy, but ultimately I don't want it to ruin my life experience of all the things that I could be enjoying.
It's hard to get to that place, though, isn't it? Because we're saying these things about using your body as an instrument and using it as a place to get from A to B. But I also have struggled with eating disorders as well, and I know that it is hard to even get to that place of recovery. And I feel like it's always an ongoing journey with recovery from eating disorders and stuff. How has your relationship changed over the years through doing drag? Was that a way that you connected better to your body?
Yeah.
Did it help you through any of that stuff?
It absolutely did, because I was in drag. I was able to wear whatever I wanted and be celebrated for that. My body became sort of part of my character. Everything was celebrated about it. I didn't have to look a certain way. I decided how I looked, and people just had to take that and watch and enjoy whatever was put in front of them.
And how old were you when you did that?
24, 25. Quite late to start drag, maybe, I guess. Because I left dance college and I completely stopped dancing, actually, for about 3 years and singing. And I became a wedding planner for 3 years.
Wow!
Random.
Wow!
I know.
And then you came back to the
I needed the attention.
Yes.
Narcissist. So I was like, okay. So then I did a pageant called Miss British Beauty Curve.
Okay.
And I won it, obviously. And then sort of was dabbling in the cabaret scene, and then drag sort of came along, did a drag competition, and then it literally never stopped.
Yeah, back to what you were saying about how it changed the relationship with your body. And stuff.
Yes. I think it was just me sort of taking ownership of it. I think the pageant probably helped as well.
Okay.
Just being like, this is me saying I'm fat. This isn't you saying I'm fat. It's me accepting it. Well, not even accepting it, just owning it and being like, I know. Like, you calling me fat, I know. I paid for this.
Yeah.
I paid for every calorie that went in this thing. And I'm okay with it, and I love it.
And being celebrated for that and winning the damn thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you went from that into drag.
Yes.
How was that transition? And what inspired you to do drag? Had you picked up makeup before?
Again, only through theatre. I think drag sort of embodies every single thing that I love and have been training towards throughout my life, because I sing live in drag. I don't lip sync. very bad
Okay.
at lip syncing.
Yeah.
Mainly because I can't learn the words, so I just make up my own words. So it embodies like singing, incredible costumes, average makeup, wigs. I love doing wigs, comedy, just being a bit of a tart on stage and silly, making people laugh, entertaining, dancing. Well, more of a two-step now, but it just embodied everything that I love. Honestly, it kind of fell into it accidentally because I wanted to find a way that I could still perform and get attention. And drag seemed to be that way. Like, obviously I was in queer spaces, exploring my sexuality, because I was also relatively late to come out in my life. And it just felt very natural. I think I was very much born to be a drag queen. I think there's no doubt about it.
That's amazing. And also, your journey wasn't linear to getting to that place. I think so many people, if you're lucky, you find out what you want to do when you're young, and then you can just follow that path. Was you going to become a wedding planner? Was it anything to do with, what's the word?
Give up.
Oh, no, give up.
That's what happened.
No, was that your way of rebelling against the theatrical
Yeah.
upbringing, or?
Yeah, it was kind of me like, well, fine, if to these dance colleges, if you think that I'm never going to work, I'm too big to work, then I'll just be successful in another way. And I was kind of
Okay.
instantly successful somehow, and I got a good paying job, but it had no heart in it, and I missed my calling in life.
Yeah, it sounds like you redefined success for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if, you said I was successful because I was getting money and stuff, but
Yeah. That doesn't mean successful.
no.
I was so unhappy, and
Yeah.
I would much rather be struggling artist, like doing the thing I love, than having an okay job,
Yeah.
not being in love with what I do. I know that we don't all have that luxury, because it was very hard to get where I am now.
Yes. Again, and we must say that
Yes, I
constantly.
must say that, so you don't think that I'm full of myself, just to remind you. I did work hard to get here. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Just got to throw it in there.
Just for them.
So
I'm amazing.
How would you? The toilet is still in my head.
I know. I can't.
So how would you define success for yourself now, having been very successful and gaining this platform through all of your work and everything you've done, showcasing your art, and also your craft has just obviously improved throughout the years. How would you define success now?
It definitely wouldn't be financial, because that's not really what I was ever after. Even going on Drag Race as a TV show, I didn't do it for the money. I did it so I could carry on doing my craft and get booked easier, because it was very difficult for me to get bookings.
To do what you love, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Because all my money goes straight back into drag, because I just love doing it so much. And I do have this kind of mentality. I don't know why. Probably a problem, but it could all just go tomorrow.
Yes.
This could all just be nothing tomorrow.
I think there's two ways of looking at that kind of mindset. There's one that says that could be, you said you think it might be a problem, so you're probably thinking that it's like, oh, it's like a scarcity mindset. Fuck, if I don't act now, this could go. But also, I think there's a lot of gratitude in that, in thinking, wow, if I woke up and all this was going to be gone tomorrow, I would realise how good I had it.
Didn't I have a fucking good time?
Yes, I had a manager say that to me once when I published my first book. I was over fucking whelmed with the amount of people that were looking at me and listening to me suddenly. I did not expect it. And that's the other thing of like representation and going on TV or doing a book or whatever, and you become hyper visible. The other side of that is it's quite overwhelming. I don't know if you found it that way, but I definitely did. And I wasn't really ready for it. And then my manager just said to me, I know it's like a bit weird at the moment, mate, because everyone's looking at you and talking about you and saying things and amazing things and weird things and horrible things. And he was like, but imagine, he was like, I really want you to like bathe in your success, and I really want you to see what you're doing, because if you woke up tomorrow and it was all gone, can you fucking imagine how, and that did change my perspective on it. So I think it is a good thing as well to like, that way of looking at it can also be a way of practicing gratitude.
Yes, I do think it's that angle.
Yeah. You have also spoke in Drag Race about fat jokes not being funny and how they can actually be quite triggering. Could you talk a bit about this? Because I feel like fat jokes in any kind of community can be thrown around. But what I find in queer communities is that there's almost, I've only really had this a few times, but there's more like lenience because we're queer, that people kind of think they can throw these things around.
Yeah, in drag as well, it's like, well, maybe it's a bit more American. I don't know, this whole like shade throwing thing.
Okay.
It's like, okay, in Friends, and if it's something we're all comfortable with, I don't know. I don't want to gatekeep what anyone says. Say what you want.
Of course, and
But
I'm not saying you're the spokesperson for anything.
exactly, and
Yeah,
I definitely don't want to be. But but it did happen on the show. I think it's always context and intent. I say this with anything, any word. Someone literally asked me yesterday, like a gay man was like, "Oh, I can't really say dyke to you, can I?" And I was like, I'm not going to tell you what to say, but it's just the intent and the intent.
Gatekeep.
Gatekeep, go boss. It's always the intent behind it. Like, if you're just saying it in a sentence, it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to make the rules.
I know what you mean.
If you're calling me a fucking fat dyke, then probably not.
Yes, and it's all what always makes me almost uncomfortable is when people say, like, what if I want to call you this? And it's like, it's the sometimes, again, context and intent. Sometimes it sounds quite antagonistic. Like when people are trying to be like, well, why can't I call you this? The same with,
why do you want to?
And yeah,
Why
right.
so
It's like, what power do you? Let us have this one thing. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was really important to talk about.
Yeah. It seems like the conversations follow me a lot. So maybe I will look back like, oh, well, I was a bit of a spokesperson for language in queer.
I hate being positioned as some kind of spokesperson. It happens to me all the fucking time. And I don't think it's fair to put people as like the spokesperson on this massive pedestal of answering for an enormous community of people. But I just think it was amazing when you spoke about it, and it's something that we all need to talk about because it's an intersection of feminism and identity that often gets overlooked, and people still assign it to morals and all this kind of stuff, which is just bullshit.
I mean, drag language is ever evolving, and I think that we can be open to having that evolve. I think people are adamant on these words that they use, or just queer language, not even drag language. That they, oh, well, it's been here for this amount of time, and therefore we must keep saying it. Well, no, because language is always evolving. Like there is misogynistic terminology used in queer culture and drag, especially. Like I don't even know if people quite realise they're even saying it or they know what it means.
Yes, yeah. Some people, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, well, they kind of get really like aggressive, like, oh no, it doesn't mean that, straight away. Where it's like, well, you just don't know what it means. You're just saying it because you've heard someone else say it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just use an example. Like the word fish is used in drag to say like you look like a biological woman.
Okay.
Because women have fishy smelling vaginas.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that was why. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Not nice.
Damn. Yeah, but I guess if you're in the drag world, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not allowed to say that word on Drag Race. That's one of our no words.
Wow.
And motherfucker and cunt.
Oh wow. Okay. Amazing. I always get people asking me as though they're almost shocked that I could ever be a sad person because I'm so joyful online, whatever, and I choose what I show.
Yes.
People always ask me if I ever get sad, and they're quite shocked by it. Do you ever feel like, as someone who appears to be so confident, that you struggle to let yourself have down days? Or do you accept all the parts and you're like, I'm feeling shit today and that's okay?
I do totally accept that I feel shit sometimes.
Yeah.
And my self-care can look different to someone else's. I do like to just sort of mong about at home if I get a day off. I really take advantage of doing sweet fuck all.
Okay.
And I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I'm very aware that my social media, my social profile is Victoria. Obviously, that's not my real name.
Yeah.
Victoria isn't a real person.
Yeah. Yes.
But I like that.
It's nice to have that split.
I've totally separated Victoria from mine. And it's healthy.
Oh, it's so healthy.
For me. It might not be for someone else.
No, it's very healthy. I've been online for about 4 or 5 years, and I always wrestle with how much I want to share with people and how much I don't. And I think actually having some kind of caricature of myself would actually be easier because then the line is clearer. There's so much going on in my life that I would naturally share online where now I'm going, no, I don't want the world to know this stuff that's going on with me. And I think the line is a lot harder to draw when it is you. So it's Florence given. It's no one else. I don't have an alter ego. And I think that's a pretty cool fucking way of having that boundary with what you share online. How do you choose what you share online with your personal life or as Victoria?
There is a bit of a furry line there because, especially with Twitter, I can get quite passionate and political.
Yes, that's definitely the place where that happens.
Yes, that's where careers go to die.
Yes.
So Victoria's real in that sense. My thoughts and beliefs that I share are always real. So it is definitely tricky. And, things that I'm very passionate about, I will always speak about. Don't care. I will never be on the fence if I'm passionate about something.
Okay, yes, yeah.
But I don't even have like a out of drag Instagram anymore. I just don't use it. I have my personal life and my girlfriend and my family and my chosen family. And I just think, would I want strangers to see certain things? Probably not. I don't have to share everything at all.
No, you don't. And I feel I have completely grown up with social media embedded into every single aspect of my life. I had like a Facebook account when I was like 10. And I've always kind of been aware of this posting and live posting. So it's very embedded into my life. And I'm even hearing you say that you don't post as yourself online and you just post as Victoria, and you've got that lovely line between those two versions. I'm inspired by that. Like, I'm gonna go home and think about ways that I could somehow do that, and I'm not gonna come out with like some fucking drag costume on Instagram and
Please do.
yes,
What's your drag name?
pretend to be someone else. But I love that. Like, I really would love something like that for myself. I'm in a period at the moment where I'm definitely adjusting with what I want to share and what I don't want to share.
Because ultimately, social media is very self-indulgent, and you're putting something out there for other people to see and enjoy. We choose everything we put out there.
Yeah.
So if I want my mum to see a photo of me, I'll just send it to her on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
The world doesn't need to see it as well.
So, Victoria, thank you so much for chatting with me.
It was awful.
I'm
horrible. So much trauma.
I'm now going to go into the listener questions. This is stuff that my audience would love to ask you.
Blank page. Absolutely nothing. Thank you for having me.
That's everything today. Okay.
Who's she? Who's that Victoria Scone?
All right. Here we go. Okay. First question. My girlfriend and I are both, I can ask this one as well. My girlfriend and I are both very femme and so aren't taken seriously. Do you have any tips on handling this?
The first thing that comes to my head is how in queer spaces sometimes, if you look femme, it's like, one, good luck even getting into a queer space because, you can't possibly be gay.
Yes.
Queer.
I completely, as a femme queer person myself, I understand the thing of like wanting to be accepted by your community and wanting to be recognised. Even on the conversation of gender, that feeling that people describe as gender euphoria is it matching how you're feeling on the inside, right? And I think that's the thing with being femme and queer or gay is that when people don't recognize you for how you feel on the inside, there's that friction. And that's personally what I've experienced is that people don't take your sexuality seriously. And then, like you said, there's accepting that reality because there's absolutely nothing you can do about it unless you want to get unless you want to dramatically change your appearance and then you're just living to please other people, which you shouldn't do. So then, the other side of the coin is accepting it and being that kind of representation. And I kind of love the thrill of shocking people. So like men will hit at me and someone I want to date with at a bar thinking that these are just two pretty girls who are dressed up and it's like, we're on a date. And I love it when their face is like, oh, what the fuck? And I actually had this guy once say to me, he was flirting with a girl I was on a date with. And I was like, mate, we're on a date. Like, we're literally holding hands. And he was like, oh, no, don't worry, I'm into that. And they always try to insert themselves. It's like, no, can't you see? Yes. And I think there's some beauty in it. Try to find the beauty in it. Because again, like we said, there's nothing you can do about it unless you want to change your appearance, which you shouldn't do for anyone if that's how you feel. Yeah. So my tip would be acceptance. Yeah.
Don't give a flying fuck.
Yes. Yeah.
Unless it's for you. Like, if you want to feel like you look more whatever queer is, if whatever you think, then fine. But if it's for someone else, please don't give a flying fuck. Yeah
Amazing. Okay, next question. How do queer beauty standards differ to cishet beauty standards? Is there a queer beauty standard? I think it's probably filters in from the dominant beauty standard just in the queer community.
Yes, but kind of like the subject we just touched on, do you look queer enough? Like, whatever that is. Because I think, again, like you said at the beginning, I'm in a bit of a bubble where we're all queer, we're all sort of playing with gender that maybe there isn't at all. You could just express yourself however the hell you want. Like today I came in and I was like, oh, I need to apologise. Like I've come straight from tour kind of thing. And I was like, I think you're the last person to judge me really.
Yes,
like,
yeah,
at
of
all.
course.
And like I've literally got my hairy legs out right here.
Me too!
I'd like to think there isn't. I think, actually, I can't speak for them, but gay men do have a rough time from listening and from being around it. I think there probably is, well, I know there is, awful expectations of how you should look and who people want to sleep with.
And people look for different things, don't they?
Mhm.
So when this person's asking what's the difference between a queer beauty standard and a cishet beauty standard, I feel like the cishet beauty standard, so let's say for straight women and straight men, it's that women are, generally speaking, supposed to be skinny,
Mhm.
big hips, big boobs, but then also that's fucking changing every day, isn't it?
Mhm.
And there's like a new insecurity that's created every single day.
Mhm.
And even in the queer community, I don't really know. I think when I came out as queer, I started to love all the quote unquote imperfections.
Yeah.
So like I started to find bacne hot. Like I'd have sex with a girl for the first time and I was like, oh my God, she has bacne. She has a hair on her nipple. And I was like, oh my God, I've
That's
never seen this. Oh, it's fucking sexy. And then I started to like that stuff in myself and like wonky boobs and seeing all of this stuff. That made me feel more comfortable with my body as well. So yeah, I think queer people and straight people have a different experience with, and again, there will be some queer women who are like, fuck, I hate all of that stuff still about myself. So it looks different for everyone.
It does, very much that.
Yeah.
But for me, clearly, I don't give a shit about beauty standards, and for some reason, my girlfriend is obsessed with me. So that's all I care about.
Oh my God, no, I love to hear it. Makes me so happy. Yeah. And I feel like that kind of love also, it helps you see yourself in a different way, doesn't it? When someone looks at you like that.
Yeah, she's like a lamb on a teach, honestly. Quite literally.
Okay, on to the next question. Do you have some advice for someone who's going through body image issues or eating disorders right now?
Mm-hmm. Not to sound negative, because I promise it gets better, but I don't think it doesn't really leave you. You just find different ways to manage it and cope with it and work your daily life around it.
Those things are always going to be triggering, aren't they? So it doesn't matter how doesn't matter how far you've come on your healing and your recovery journey. There are always going to be situations that you don't feel comfortable with. And I think one of the most beautiful things you can do on your recovery journey is look at your recovery journey and go, fuck, I'm not doing this anymore. Or look how far I've come. I can be in this situation and I didn't react that way anymore. And I think perhaps it's looking at how far you've come, which could be helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I think I've got to a point where, again, I don't give a damn. And I love my meat vessel sack.
Yes.
For what it does. Carries me around.
And would you say, if you could summarize it, and again, it's years and years and years and years and years worth of work, but how have you got to this place where you're accepting your meat vessel sack?
It's definitely been years and years.
Yeah.
Doing different things like pageants, which may seem very extreme, but me actively finding something where I can see myself as beautiful or handsome, or finding someone that loves me probably definitely helped.
I love that because I'm a massive advocate for self-love, and I also don't think you can do it by yourself. I do think you need these people around you to mirror it back to you, to mirror your worth back. Yeah,
it definitely does. And again, I have got to a good place, but it's still always growing and changing and evolving.
Like we
it's
said,
still always a journey. There is no end point, really.
No.
I will say that taking yourself away from situations that are triggering, even if it's a really bad thing, like family, if you have to take yourself away from something that you should not, really, then you have to do that. Some things are really triggering for me that I have to remove myself from for periods of time. That is probably quite sad, but I have to do it for my own mental health.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like the stress can lead to the eating disorder thing again. You can be like, oh, it's all good and well, and then you're stressed, and then it happens and it flares up again. So whoever sent in that question, I wish you the best of luck on your recovery journey, and try to look at how far you've come as well. Okay, the last question I have here: Do you have any advice for dealing with parents who don't accept how you dress as an adult?
Oh my God, that's close to home.
Okay.
God love my mum, but she does make comments about my short hair now. It's funny you touched on hair as well.
Okay.
probably not the best way to deal with things, but she'll like send me photos of me with long hair, like, oh, I miss this.
Yeah, I was going to say that's passive aggressive, but actually it's quite direct, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just not beating around the bush. And it's like, and I literally reply, I'm so much happier now and I feel more like myself. Would you not rather have a happy child? Like, it's just hair. Would you not rather your child be really happy and comfortable with themselves and living their best life than look the way you want them to?
Yeah.
And then she's fine.
Yeah. I think relationships with parents when it comes to image as well, it is... When I used to have really long hair, my mum used to really love my long hair as well. And I think the people around you kind of adjust to this new version. It's like they go through this mourning thing. And I've seen trans people talk about how their parents have like mourned the loss of their child. And then I saw this amazing tweet that was something like, that's something that people need to do privately, because while you're thinking about what you've lost, you need to think about what this person is gaining. And that is the thing that needs to be celebrated. So while it's so expected to grieve the loss of, who you thought someone was going to be. Even when I came out as queer, one of the first things that I was asked by a family member was, will I still get grandkids?
That's what my mum said when I came out.
It's almost textbook. It's like they all read from the same script about what the shitty things to say. And I said I never said I was going to give you kids anyway. Like
Amen.
that was never on the cards.
No.
Like I never said that. But
that's expected of us.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, the grieving, I feel, of whatever life people thought you were going to have, that's understandable, that needs to be grieved, but it does need to be grieved privately, because the person who is stepping out of that shell and is stepping into themselves, whatever version of themselves that they're on their way to becoming, that's the thing that needs to be celebrated. I find that the easiest way to articulate what's going on in my mind sometimes is to dress myself a certain way. And I feel like since it's hard to articulate yourself on a first impression, the first thing that people see is how you look, and that there's no better feeling than that matching up with how you feel inside. And maybe just explain to your parent or your parents or your family members who aren't agreeing with it that this is what you need to do to feel how you feel on the inside.
It's like, does the curtain match the drapes? Like,
yes,
this is my external matching my internal.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm just choosing how to project myself, and really that's none of your business. Like, as a parent, like,
exactly.
I am myself. I am not your child forever. Like, well, I am, but that's I don't belong to you forever.
Not forever.
You know what I mean?
This ends today. Okay, exactly. I love that.
Excommunicated from the family.
Yes. Gorgeous ending. Oh my God, that was fucking wonderful. I haven't laughed so much in so long. I really hope you enjoyed listening to my conversation with Victoria Scone today. Scone, however you want to pronounce it. I think there's like a national debate about that. Victoria was so interesting to talk to. We covered everything from sexuality and gender and body image, and I just resonate with her on so many levels. And one thing I'm definitely going to take away from this episode, which I wasn't expecting to, is considering creating an alter ego online. I fucking love the sound of that. I'm not sure I'll follow through with it, but I love the idea of it. I love the idea of having a very separate life, offline and online, and it being able to have that clear division. Thank you so much again to Victoria for joining me today, and to all of you for listening. You can find Victoria on Instagram at Victoria Scone.